Today on Sledhead 24/7, centralize the way you ride with the all-new Axis chassis from Polaris. With 93% new parts from the ground up, including a new HO Clean Fire engine, this platform was built for dominating the terrain. Check in with Skidoo and find out what engine package is right for you. With features like ITC, finger throttle, and a learning key, Skidoo's always striving to make those extra miles more comfortable. And find out what it takes to pick a champion with Mike Cloetti, Arctic Cat Race Team Manager. And later, parents, don't be scared. Speedworks reveals a 206RR package for the Arctic Cat ZR120. That's a true flower bed masher. Sledhead 24/7 starts now.
Check out this view. And I don't mean just back there, right across here, Fish. We've got hardware.
Got the best of the best. We got a little bit of everything from all the manufacturers.
Welcome, sledders, to another episode of Sledhead 24/7. I'm your host, Carly Applin, out on the trails, enjoying the weather and putting on miles. We're going to start the show off by evaluating the all-new Axis chassis from Polaris. With a whole new platform for 2015 that's designed around the rider for a more centralized balance of control, this is truly an amazing sled to ride. Take a look.
You know, the folks over at Polaris did a lot of changes. This sled is 93% changed.
Polaris has cut out in this new Axis chassis from last year, 2014 to 2015, the switchback, 38 pounds. They've moved the driver forward. It's more centered up in the front.
The 800 Rush Pro S for me was one of the funnest sleds that I've actually ridden this entire weekend. It's not designed to be the top end model in the new Axis chassis, but that's why I like it, because it shines so well. That chassis sits a little bit lower than its other model, the Pro X, but I think that actually helps it in the trail section.
The Pro X, it's got taller shocks, it's got a little bit different valving in it, and it's made for just crashing through big bumps.
Big bumps, that thing just shines.
It's a little bit higher the way it sits. The Pro S is a totally different suspension. Geometry is the same, but the valving and spring rate is different.
It's Pro S and its little brother, it's 2 inches lower. It's the one that's meant for the groomed trail section.
Polaris has done a great job on this. Yeah, I know they've had a lot of development time on this chassis. And I tell you what, I really do love the sled.
You know, it's got the 800 HO Clean Fire. This is all new for 2015. When you say all new, what's new about it? We'll start with the crankshaft, 2.5 pounds lighter. It's got electronic variable exhaust valves. So it isn't the gas pressure, it isn't done with springs. It's a little servo motor that actually opens and closes the exhaust valves from close to middle height to high height.
The 800 Clean Fire HO engine had tons of power. The power had linear acceleration, just a nice, steady, gradual pull the whole way.
What an engine they have. Same crankshaft they've been using in snowcross. Remember the ones getting all the hole shots? 2.5 pounds lighter. Doesn't sound like much? That is an incredible amount of weight to reduce out of the crankshaft. It's a combination of your pistons, your rods, your crank. All that takes inertia to get rolling. 2.5 pounds lighter crank, spectacular.
It really hooked up nice with the 800 Clean Fire injection motor.
The thing has great throttle response, gets great mileage, and just sips oil. Makes it a great all-around sled.
It's all about the rider position forward, but being up higher, and nobody else does that.
The ergos were phenomenal. I liked standing and sitting on this sled.
When you sit on it, you just feel super comfortable. Almost like sitting on a dirt bike, but way more comfortable than that, in my opinion.
You can slide back, you can lighten the front and just wheelie through anything. You come into a corner, slide up front, that front end bites, and it grabs around the corner.
It definitely had, rider forward ergonomics on it. But I think that the steering column and the handlebars, make that feel comfortable by all means. It didn't feel like they were, twisting back into my chest on sharp corners by any means. And it wasn't super uncomfortable to ride it, for longer periods of time on the trail.
What they've done is create a snowmobile that flies flatter. Remember, rushes in the past, including myself, have said there's a little bit too much weight transfer, meaning that when you got your weight shifted back and you're hard on the gas, the nose gets too light. And then you're trying to drag the brake and bump the brake down to keep the nose down. Not in this new Axis chassis. This thing absolutely flies flat, level, and true.
That chassis just seemed to make everyone, like I say, keep a smile on their face the entire time they were riding it. It worked, and I think that, it was super important that it worked, but I also think that it was super important to see a snowmobile company, pursue innovation. Being realistic, you're going to ride a Pro X and, on some trail a little bit, obviously, because not anyone's going to ride 8 hours straight of the, the huge whoops or the, tight stutters that we were riding today. But it really works in what it's designed for, and I think because of that, you can give up a little bit of the on-trail characteristics.
It's like artwork. They took a blank piece of canvas and created art, and let me tell you, this is a Picasso.
For special offers and more on Polaris, visit them online at polaris.com. And keep a lookout for their 2015 demo tour. Why not ride one before you buy one? More to come on Sledhead 24/7. Don't go anywhere.
Still ahead. Want more power out of your 120? Speedworks has what you need. Skidoo offers an array of engine packages. Find out which one's right for you. And what does it take to pick a champion? We catch up with Articat's race manager Mike Cloetti to get an inside scoop. Stay tuned. Sledhead 24/7 is brought to you by AMSOIL, the first in synthetics. Polaris, terrain domination. Ram, guts, glory, Ram. Fox, redefining ride dynamics. And by Studboy, traction with an attitude.
Welcome back to Sledhead 24/7. I'm your host, Carly Applin. Skidoo is always improving technology for the way we ride. Let's hear more from Skidoo and find out what they have to offer in 2015.
We're at Skidoo now looking at the 2015 engine lineup, and they're always pressing the envelope, always ever-changing, evolving, coming out with new product, tried and true product. And Steve is going to tell us about the different motor options Skidoo has now for 2015. Steve, what do we have?
Well, we'll start at the top of the line with the highest horsepower one. We've got the 800R E-Tech. This machine puts out about 160 some odd horsepower. Very strong for the mountains, very strong for the trail rider that's very aggressive, and very clean burning because it is E-Tech. On this one we have the 600 Ace. Again, now what's new this year is the ITC, Intelligent Throttle Control. So you're no longer using a cable to operate the throttle bodies, you're using a wire, so it's electronic. The benefit of that is we can put a learning key on this one. We can program the exact throttle response that we want, so you get the 3 modes again: Eco, Standard, and Sport. 900 Ace here. And this one, again, the same benefits that we talked about with the 600. ITC is a big part of it. Okay, this one's moving into more of the, this engine's gonna be used more in the utility market this year. So it's great for the terrain rider, great for all-around guy that wants durability, longevity, and low maintenance costs is what it's really all about. Plus, now, like you said, Paul, with this throttle that flips around, it's just nothing more than that to go to a finger throttle, flip it back to go to a thumb throttle. Very easy, very simple. So as a long day of riding, you can vary it, or let's say you're working standing up most of the time in a utility application, you might want to use the finger throttle more often than the thumb.
Steve, a lot of people are wondering, including myself, what's the horsepower difference between a 600 Ace and a 900 Ace?
Well, at the 600, you've got 60 horsepower. 900 is 90 horsepower motor. The difference big being, we added that third cylinder, obviously, so 50% more power.
What about the next snowmobile, Steve, the 600 HO?
E-Tech, this thing's been around since 2009. This is an extremely proven motor. It offers some things really good oil economy, really good fuel economy, great horsepower. Power to weight ratio is fantastic on this machine. It's probably what I would say is a real benchmark for the industry to look at. We know that other people look at this and use this as where they want to shoot for. It uses no oil at idle, so there's no smoke, no smell, nothing like that. Starts instantly, just a push the button or just a slight pull on the cord, whatever you have for an option in your machine. Running instantly, it runs very clean all day long.
That really is a 600 HO E-Tech is really kind of the starting point and benchmark for all 600 technology. When this came out, every other manufacturer was kind of scratching their head and trying to play catch up. This kind of started the whole 600 taking off in technology, did it not?
Without a doubt, this one has established a benchmark. Next, we've got the 1200 Fortec. In the four-stroke motors, this is our largest motor. It's a triple 1200, very powerful engine, about 130 horsepower. But it does not have some of the technology that we offer in the Aces yet. That does not have the ITC, but still an extremely solid riding machine. This one is used, we see a lot of this in the Grand Touring segment, we see a lot of this in the GSX segment, and the Renegade Adrenaline seem to be very popular choices for this one.
You know, Ski-Doo is always ever-changing, evolving, and they're at the leading forefront of engine technology. And Steve, thanks for the information, but anybody that's still not wondering exactly which engine is right for you, which snowmobile, they can always go where and find out?
Go to skidoo.com, it's probably the easiest spot to start. Pick a model, pick an engine size, you're gonna get what you want.
With features like ITC and finger trigger throttle control, technology makes it easier to go the extra mile. More to come on Sledhead 24/7. Don't go anywhere.
Still ahead, we can all use more power. And for the young guns of the sport, Speedworks has what you need. And get an inside peek at Team Arctic with race manager Mike Cloetti. Stay tuned. Sledhead 24/7 is brought to you by K&N, the world's best air filter. FXR, world-class outerwear. Arctic FX Graphics, make it yours. GoPro, be a hero. Michelob Golden Light, you're golden. And by Ski-Doo Snowmobiles.
Hey Sled fans, welcome back. I'm your host, Carly Applin. Sometimes our machines just don't have as much power as we would like. And for the kiddies, Speedworks has them covered as well. Take a look.
So we're here out at the ERX Motor Complex for their Thursday night grassroots racing. One of the biggest classes that they have here and everywhere across the snow belt where they're racing snowmobiles is the new 206 class. It's a crate motor class for the 120s. Speedworks is proud to now be taking part into this class. So one of the really cool things about the 206 class and thing that really brought our attention was how we want to work to build the future and make things better for snowmobiling and get more people involved. Right now, the 120 class, this size snowmobile, the way the rules are, the kids are riding these sleds until they're about 9, 10 years old. As you can see, it's a pretty small machine. Speedworks is doing a lot to address that situation. In the future, we're going to be coming with a more stand-up rider position or a more stand-up friendly type setup, long track kit, Fox shock suspension kit, things like that. All that stuff's coming through in the future, and we'll actually be showing you guys this probably early Sledhead stuff next year. This is a complete turnkey sled that you can buy from Speedworks for $35.99 or from your local Arctic dealer. Or if you already have a 120 and you want to just get the engine package, that's also available as well. As all you need to do is contact Speedworks. And then we've joined forces with Briggs & Stratton to get going with their animal engine package. And then along with that, we've included a few other modifications as well. It's our Speedworks stainless steel trail exhaust system. It's a little bit different than the race mufflers or race pipes that are out there on the market now. This is more of a quieter version. We focused on it being quiet for kids riding in residential areas and things like that. Not only is it stainless steel, where it's going to last a lot longer, it's a stepped header, so there's a couple of different steps in it for maximum horsepower and maximum flow. And then we got a really good muffler on there to help keep the noise down. So we also do it comes with a new clutch, gearing, and the race chain. We run the energy release. It comes with a can of the energy release clear chain grease. It's a spray-on grease for the chain and stuff, help keep that lubricated and stuff. And then we also send a small bottle of the anti-friction metal conditioner with. That's something that we mix in with the engine oil to help reduce friction, lower oil temps, things like that. And it's a friction fighter. It works really well as well. It's one of the newest, biggest, most exciting things going on in the industry right now is the youth and the youth racing. And it's better for the sport altogether because it's fertilizing the crop. We're getting more and more people into snowmobiling. It's fun. The families are out here cheering and yelling. You'll see later on when we're racing, everybody's having a blast, and we're proud to be a part of it.
Today, Jeremy from Speedworks brought us the Briggs 206 RR for my boy to test out here at the ERX Motor Park. And it went pretty good out here today for him. He really liked the power of the sled, a lot more powerful than his 120 stocker that he rides.
I feel more confident riding the brakes out there because it has more of the power it needs.
More power than the stock 120s, and gives the kids bigger kids, a more opportunity to ride than the small ones. Definitely excited that Jeremy picked us to try out his products.
I'm super pumped. I mean, it is so cool that the way 120 racing was before, the mod sleds, I mean, dads were spending buku bucks. I mean, they're spending over 10 grand on some of them mods. We have the almost same type of performance right off the showroom floor for $35.99. I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's way faster than the stock 120. It's got a great super durable engine from Briggs & Stratton. It's a really new product. The feedback's been great. The biggest thing is that we get a lot of people inquiring about the kit for the sled they already have. And don't worry, we have a kit for that as well. If you already own the machine and you want to do the kit, whether it's the new Arctic Cat or the Yamaha or whatever, if you already have that set up, we can provide you with the kit as well, and that goes for about $1,500.
For more on Speedworks, head over to our website at sledhead24-7.com, where we've set up a link. More to come on Sledhead 24/7. Don't go anywhere.
Up next, find out what it takes to pick a champion with Team Arctic race manager Mike Cloetti. Stay tuned. Sledhead 24/7 is brought to you by Amsoil, the first in synthetics. Arctic Cat, share our passion. C&A Pro Skis, ride like a pro. Bully Dog, more power, more pull, more bully. Spy, see better, feel better. And by Speedworks, straight up USA horsepower.
Welcome back to Sledhead 24/7. Picking champions can be hard for any race team. We catch up with Mike Cloetti, Team Arctic Cat's race manager, to get the inside scoop on what his job entails.
I've been at Arctic Cat now, working in the race department for just under 20 years. What I like about what I'm doing now is having racers be successful at the racetrack. I try to do whatever we can as myself and Arctic Cat to make their race effort successful and to have fun doing it.
You know, everybody knows him for what he's doing here, and you know, like I said, this is his passion and what he loves to do.
Mike Cloetti's been the race manager for a couple years now, and Mike does a really great job of helping me out and getting my program ready for the season.
The reward is when you get to visit him on the podium and see the family and the friends and all the big smiles. That makes me have fun. Spring is when our new race application goes out. We'll mail them out to all the current Team Arctic riders. We also spend the spring to evaluate the past season. Where's some areas we need to improve on? What areas were we really strong in? Once all the riders are approved, we send out acceptance letters and they get to see what they're buying the sleds for. So we do a lot of the sales of the sleds happens throughout the summer. Heydays is they say the unofficial start of winter. And before you know it, we're Thanksgiving weekend and we're racing. Snowcross in general, the riders went from more of a sit-down to a stand-up. And it allows them to be in more of an attack zone right away. Obviously the durability and the performance has escalated from year to year to year, and today's sleds are pretty much race ready right out of the box.
It's always been Cat. We've always been Cat. There's never switched, never even thought of switching. So Cat's been really good to us. Mike Cloetti at the race shop, you know, they take really good care of us. All the engineers are there to help, and everybody at Arctic Cat's great that way.
I like to watch the track to see where a lot of the more technical sections are, and I can see which riders are getting through those better. From there you can break down their style. I mean, you can look at the way the guy hits jumps and goes through the bumps, and you can determine whether he's going to be hard on his body and he's only going to last a few years, or if he's smooth and easy on equipment and he can ride a 20-minute moto and take his helmet off and hardly be sweating. Tucker's program from the ground up, I mean, obviously he started with snowmobile racing background with his dad.
Obviously excited to race and to win every time I'm out there. That's my goal, and whether or not we're in the championship fight or for. Whatever the situation is, I'm out here to win races, and that's what my team works so hard for, and that's what I work so hard for.
What separates him, I believe, in today's racing is, his attention to detail and his just desire and passion to not accept anything but winning. We start racing kids at 4 years of age.
I'm pretty much bleed green. My dad and stuff, he used to race Hard Cat too, so it runs in the family.
The 120 group, those parents are as passionate about racing and as dedicated to it as any group. Until they really get into the junior class, 14, 15 year age, then you can decide to see where their path might take them when they turn 18, 19, and 20.
In 5-10 years, it would for surely be a dream come true, to be racing out of the Arctic Cat trailer and being the guy who everybody looks, oh my gosh, he's the best, we got to go beat him this weekend for sure,
The way the racing is set up today with our pro riders basically running open sleds, we're given the ability to really play a lot in that area. Those items that happen in here and happen in a lot of the pro open trailers, that's the fun part that we get to see that the consumers don't see for a few years. The best advice I can have for somebody that wants to get into racing is they got to come to a race. It's not a cheap sport to get into, but it can be really rewarding. You involve your family and your friends, and I think you can have a lot of fun chasing it.
I had a chance to chat with Mike Coletti, and he's truly a passionate guy who loves the sport of snowmobiling. Now we're almost out of time for this episode of Sledhead 24/7. We want to give a big shout out to our sponsors and you, the fans, for watching. Make sure to check us out online at sledhead24-7.com, and of course, like us on Facebook. I'm your host, Carly Applin. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Next week on Sledhead 24/7, ride along with Prenoth, the best groomer in the business that creates the tracks on the National Snowcross Circuit. We'll ride and evaluate the 2015 Skidoo Renegade, a sled that takes the big bumps with ease. Hey, if you're a snowmobiler, chances are you own a truck. We'll show you how Ram trucks have stepped up in the snowmobile industry. Speedworks shares a family secret about product they've used for more than 20 years. All that and more next week on Sledhead 24/7.
Hey Sledders, make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube for the latest episodes. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and of course, check us out on Sledhead24-7.com. Who knows, you might just catch us in action this winter.